welcome to another episode of the Miles Offside podcast, where we talk a little bit of football and a whole lot of nothing. My name is Oscar Puente, also known as Footy from Afar, and with me, as always, is my co-host, Chuck Bailey.
Hello!
Guten Tag.
Guten Abend.
And on the other line, you know him, you love him, he's the one that makes us sound good. It's super producer Ian Stimson.
How are we doing tonight?
Pretty good.
Raving.
Bit weird recording on a Thursday.
Yeah, I know. We're going to try and rush this one out before the club football is back.
Yes.
So today's going to be loose and fast. Just like...
Oh, Jesus.
Ian's giving me that. Maybe I won't.
It's going to be loose. It's definitely going to be loose, if that's anything to go by.
Yeah.
We have challenged ourselves with being able to put out an episode unedited so far. So
we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
But the rundown, we're going to do one part, so it's not going to be a long one this week. We're going to have a news segment, rapid fire news that isn't really rapid and isn't really news. We're going to have emails and questions, and then the upcoming fixtures this weekend. So it should be in and out pretty quickly. Yep.
And apparently
so
innuendo laden, apparently, as well.
Yeah, I guess it just keeps happening. So let's start off with our rapid fire news. Ooh.
Oh!
Ian ready to go on that. Love
He's got
that.
himself a stylophone.
That is awesome. Wow, this is definitely how it's going to be from now on. Love it.
Calm down, Rolf.
So our first story of the night. UEFA planning a third European club competition from 2021. Going to be breaking up the Europa League teams until that there are 3 different competitions going of the same size. Do we think that this third competition is going to be of any interest whatsoever? Chuck, go.
I'm not going to lie. I thought they were talking about the Nations League, which is already happening. And I think with that being so confusing, why add in... I don't know, what are they going to call it? Europa Light? Are they going to bring back the Intertoto Cup? Is it just going to be teams that no one's ever heard of, even more so than the Europa League? I don't understand why. No, I don't want it.
Yeah, I don't actually know what it is. They didn't give any specific details other than this thing is coming. But the quote I'm seeing on the BBC News is that the idea would see the Europa League reduced from 48 teams to 32, so that the Champions League, Europa League, and the new competition would all have the same number of competitors.
Yeah.
So I think basically they're hoping that everyone in the Premier League and La Liga will be playing European League football at some point in the next few years. Right? Everybody gets 15 qualifying spots, so Burnley will have their European adventure.
Again.
Yeah, participation medals for everyone.
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly. Cool. That's news story number 1. News story number 2, and the one I'm most excited about. Premier League to debut VAR this weekend to be tested at Saturday's 3 p.m. matches to see if the VAR room can handle 5 simultaneous matches. Do we think this is going to go well? Ian, take it away.
It has to go well, as in, this is what UEFA, FIFA, everyone wants, pretty much. So, apart from some fans who I think are stuck in the 50s. So, yeah, I mean, it's just a logistics test, but ultimately, if it goes wrong, they'll fix it and it'll be rolled out next year or the year after that, I'm sure.
Yeah, exactly. I think they're planning on doing 16 games in the Premier League this year. Now, they are trialling it this weekend, but the VAR room won't actually be communicating with the ref.
Yeah.
At all. So it's a bit of a shame. Like, when I first read it, I thought, oh, great, there's actually going to be VAR, but it's not just yet. It's very, very much in its infancy, which is weird because they've used it in, the FA Cup. They've used it I don't think they've used it in the lower leagues here, but they have used it across Europe and they've brought it in. And so, yeah, I'm all for it. I actually miss it from the World Cup.
Yeah, it was great. It was something to talk about, and it generally improves decisions. I just don't see the argument against it.
Yeah, I'm fully on board with you guys. I mean, people were saying, oh, was that last weekend or maybe 2 weekends ago when Wolves scored that handball goal on City? Yeah. And everyone's like, oh, see, if we had VAR, this exciting drama wouldn't be happening. I'm like, yeah, it shouldn't have been a goal.
Yeah. They wouldn't have been able to cheat and win. Well, not win, draw, but...
Yeah, forget drama. I want, the correct decisions to be made. So that idea is dumb.
Yeah, let's not pretend there was no drama at the World Cup with VAR. I mean...
Yeah, absolutely none. It made it so dull.
Yeah, I mean, ridiculous.
Mental. Absolutely mental.
Yeah, so I'm definitely excited for when it finally is officially in. We'll see how this weekend goes. Because that is definitely going to be the challenge for them, is handling 5 matches at the same time. And not having, 5 different VAR rooms, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, so it's actually just going to be one group of blokes watching 5 games
All 5
at once?
matches. Yeah, exactly, yeah. So that is the hard thing.
Oh, fuck, that's never going to work. No, cancel everything I said. That is a dumb fucking idea. Abort. No,
Yeah.
it does not work.
Well, they're not going to have, 25 different referees and assistant referees spread out across VAR rooms on top of having all the ones at the 5 matches at the same time. There's not enough people for that. So logistically, this has to be...
No, of course there is. Of course there is. They complain there's not enough great referees. They just get trainee referees in because
use them for
when
VAR,
you're
where they
early
can-
and making... Yeah, you're early and you're learning the laws. You know all the laws. They're much more fresh in your mind. And you get to practice those without fear of having a bloke scream in your face.
Yeah, and getting a couple of looks at it. Yeah. They'll be, and they should be able to manage it. I mean, Soccer Saturday do exactly the same thing. Just bring a load of feeds in, and they'll just be on the studio floor next to Jeff.
Yeah, please don't take that to mean that Ian would like Chris Kamara and Paul Merson in the VAR room.
I bloody love Chris Kamara. I won't hear a word said against him.
Pretty amusing to have that happen.
Was that a penalty? I don't know, Jeff. I don't know.
I love him.
Awesome. All right, next news story. Russian midfielder star Denis Cheryshev from the World Cup is being investigated by Spanish anti-doping authorities.
If only there'd have been a clue.
Yeah, are we at all surprised there? I mean, clearly the answer is no, right?
To be honest, I am surprised. I'm surprised it took this long.
I'm surprised they've been caught.
I guess they can pay off, allegedly, FIFA, but the Spanish
Yeah, be very
anti-doping
careful
agency.
here. Be very careful here, Oscar.
One of our 10 listeners is a lawyer for FIFA and is going to sue us. Yeah.
Sue us if we're lucky.
11 listeners.
Oh. Hey! Throwback. Nice. Okay, so, I mean, not much to say there, right? It's
the Russians are coming for you
I was
now,
gonna
mate. I
say,
see
it sounds like
clear
it.
in the background.
Shit, they got me already. Yeah, I mean, do we think he'll, get in trouble for it, or, the Spanish people just gonna let him, be whatever?
I mean, it's very much...
For the listeners, I just got 2 simultaneous shrugs from Chuck and Stimmers at the exact same time. And I think they forgot that you can't see shrugs. We're both like, eh.
We are not radio professionals, Oscar.
Get away with it, don't get away with it. I mean, it wasn't... They didn't seem to be punished at the Olympics, did they? They just sort of rebranded. It was just Russia Zero.
I mean, this is all largely irrelevant, as 4 hours ago, BBC reported that he'd been cleared of doping violation.
Amazing. Right, fine.
Oh,
So...
For our next news story, the U.S. played Brazil recently in the round of friendlies, and DeAndre Yedlin fouled Neymar, and as the ref was going to give him a yellow card, he said, No. Did you watch the World Cup? It was a dive.
That was
Did you
brilliant.
watch the World Cup? And you can very clearly see him and the referee laughing while Neymar's on the floor rolling around, and he says the words, Did you watch the World Cup?
DeAndre Yedlin earned a very special place in my heart after that. I've got to say, I fucking loved that. Just seeing him not giving a shit and going, "Did you see the World Cup? But did you see the World Cup? Did you see it? You saw it, right?"
And if I'm not mistaken, he didn't get the yellow card. I think the ref was like, "Yeah, you're right."
No, I don't think so. Maybe he felt sorry for him because Yedlin had to watch the World Cup from home. I don't know.
Right. Uncalled for.
Wow.
Jesus. All right, it's going to be
Shots
like
fired.
that, I guess.
And anytime Neymar gets mugged off is perfectly fine by me, because
Yeah.
Neymar is prick.
Well, speaking of people who might be watching things at home, our next news story, England are in the relegation zone in the League of Nations for UEFA.
Hold on.
Utter bastard.
Hold on. I don't believe we are, because Croatia got battered 6-0.
Yes, correct.
Yes!
But you still lost.
Brilliant.
You still
Yeah,
lost
but we're
all
not
of
the
your matches.
shittest, Oscar, and that's what matters.
You know that Chuck only aims for 17th. So, so England not being in the relegation zone, I'm sure he considers a win.
Mid-table, mate. Mid-table.
Yeah, exactly. Best we can fucking.
That's
hope
more
for.
wins than England has lately.
Yeah, as confusing as the Nations League is, I know enough to know that if we don't finish bottom, we're all right. I don't know if I can deal with two teams fighting relegation, lads, to be honest.
When do they fire Southgate and bring Sam Allardyce in?
Oh, God, no. That,
To keep him
surely not.
Yeah, he's never been relegated, they all say.
He's never been relegated.
Allardyce has been relegated.
Not from the top flight, not from the top flight. You're right, I think he has been relegated, hasn't he?
Yeah, Tony Pulis is the one who hasn't been relegated.
People do spout it about Allardyce, though, but...
Yeah, I think it... well, I don't know. I've just heard it, but I don't know if it's true.
Yeah, people
Well, the thing
definitely
with
say
Allardyce is you can't pull the wool over his eyes, guys.
Yeah.
Can't pull the wool over his eyes.
Jeez.
He knows everything.
Yeah.
Jokes aside, though, like, what's up with this England team? Are you guys still riding high, or did this kind of bring you down a bit?
I would like to posit that it's mostly the World Cup, because the World Cup is great and everyone loves the World Cup. And so just to see England get in it was great. And I do like the idea of this Nations League, but the problem is now technically there are 3 international forms of games running alongside each other at the same time. So trying to figure out what the game actually is difficult, because there's the Nations League, there's the friendlies, and there is also Euro 2020 qualification games. So I'm not fussed. I didn't watch a single minute of England-Spain or England-Switzerland. I didn't know the scores until Oscar told me them about 5 minutes before we started recording.
And I Googled them 5 minutes before that.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Well done, lads. Well done.
So it was most definitely World Cup fever as opposed to England fever.
Yeah. Well, newsflash, Kane definitely still looked tired.
Didn't he get rested, too, like in the other match? Southgate was like, oh, he needs a day off.
He did half an hour, didn't he, or something?
Something
Half
like
an
that.
hour,
Yeah.
that's all right.
Chuck's like, I can do half an hour.
I fucking can't.
No, definitely not. So I think that transitions us over to the mailbag. We're going to do a big mailbag piece today. So just going to take all the questions that we've had building up over the last few weeks. And we're going to hit some deep dives and have some interactions with you guys.
Big mailbag from 3 big mail bags.
Did you write that one down, Chuck?
Literally just thought of it. Thank you very much.
You would never have guessed. Well, yeah, we've got a bulging sack because we've been saving them up for a while.
You definitely wrote that one down, so fuck off.
So yeah, we've been saving up a few. So thanks for sending them in. But I think we'll go traditional to start with. So Dave Matteo sent us one a couple of weeks ago, which has given, of course, yeah, you've got to give due deference to Dave Matteo. So you've had time to think about this now. So he's asked, if you were to form a 5-a-side team but have no players from the traditional top 6, who would be in that 5-a-side team?
Are we including ourselves in this team?
You're picking yourself, Jack,
You are.
having said you can't complete half an hour.
Well, I mean, because he said, like, pick a team around yourself, so it'd be a bit shit if you picked a team and didn't
Okay,
back
fair
yourself.
enough. Where are you playing, Chuck?
I mean, on the bench.
You're the 6th man.
I'm 6th sub, yeah. Sixth
Rolling
man.
subs.
Yeah, rolling subs. Of course, 5-a-side, isn't it?
Yeah. Mitrovic, off you come, lad.
Yeah, Mitro, you've had enough, mate. He's had enough. I'm getting a bit worried about you with that little celebration, mate. I don't know what's going on. Are you trying to make a phone call? Are you trying to hear the sea? I don't understand it, Alex.
Do you know there's no seashell there, right?
Yeah,
So is Mitrovic in your team, Chuck? I'm curious. I figured he would be, but...
he genuinely is, yes.
Yeah, I thought so.
I was going to say, like, I was right about Mitrovic. I was just a month and a half too early.
He's been on fire, man. He scored
Yeah.
in the internationals, too.
Yeah, he scored 2 goals against Romania, I want to say.
I don't know.
Yeah, let's say, why not? Why not? And then he scored 3 or 4 goals for Fulham so far. So,
Yeah,
yeah, Mitro's on fire.
he is.
So, yes, he definitely features up front for me as kind of that gobby guy at 5-a-side who gets under the other team's skin and just abuses them and makes them not think that any of it's worth it.
Sort of thought that'd be your role, but carry on.
Yeah.
No.
That's his role on the podcast.
Hey, I play it well, okay? We stick aces in places, guys. So going right to the back of the team, I'd probably go for Neil Etheridge in goal, just to be a little bit left field, because he saved a few penalties this year. And I quite like that.
Hipster.
Why is that hipster?
Fucking hipster.
Why is that fucking hipster? By definition, any of the top... If we don't pick the top 6, we're going for less popular picks.
I guess you don't have to go as obscure as possible. He's like, I'm taking some guy from League 2 who rides the bench
Cardiff.
for Forest Green Rovers.
Cardiff,
yeah.
They're about as good as a League 2 team, so.
Hot takes.
Yeah.
He saved 2 penalties.
Yeah, he's doing well in FPL, isn't he?
Two penalties. Top scoring goalkeeper in FPL. Say no more. So I think for kind of close range shots and stuff, he'd be great. Then I've gone for Pereira from Leicester as my kind of defender, because you need to be quite attacking as well in five-a-side. You don't really have a dedicated defender, so you'll be able to get up and down the pitch. And then in the midfield to kind of control things, I've gone for Wilfred Ndidi.
Nice. Okay.
Just because I really like his name, Ndidi. Indeed, I do.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, I couldn't not go for my boy, my favourite, Wilfried Zaha. Because in five-a-side, you need that player that can play the ball off the walls, confuse the teams, run round them, create the space. And yes, Ian, I can see you counting there. That was 5 people.
Okay, I was just checking. With you as well. Okay, fine.
Yeah, I told you I'm sub.
Yeah.
And not first sub. Not first sub either. So I'll go Etheridge, Pereira, and Ndidi, Zaha, Mitrovic.
So a team full of Wilfreds there. 2 Wilfreds.
Double Wilf.
That's cool. Not often that gets to happen. Ian, do you want to go?
I'm done one.
You haven't? Okay. Sounds good.
We got asked this question like 3 weeks ago, and you specifically said prepare something.
Yeah, I said that
and
to
have
you.
reminded us of it twice.
Yeah.
And you sit there and go, "You are a fucking bastard." How dare you? I would not be surprised if Dave Mateo stops listening. And you know what, Dave? You'd be justified, and I'd allow it, and I'd see the drop in one listener.
We would see
That's like 20% of our
And
listeners.
we would fucking notice it.
Yeah.
Well, you are playing your character well, Chuck. Yeah. No, I wrote down the questions. I'll leave it to more knowledgeable people like yourselves.
Well, there's none to be found here.
Dude, I picked the Cardiff goalkeeper. Like, it's not that.
All right, I'll go. Okay, I'm doing. I think I'm doing the same formation as you, Chuck. I'm doing a diamond.
Well, you're doing 5.
Yeah, there are different formations. I specifically looked up
Amazing.
five-a-side formations.
Of course you did.
Because-
Did you look up the XG of all the five-a-side teams as well?
Yeah, you did heat maps.
All right, relax. I got Rui Patricio at the back. He's
Good
the
choice. Yeah.
Portugal goalkeeper, so it's hard to pick him. And there's going to be a theme with this, but he's good. He's pretty good with his feet, which I like. Up in front of him, the defender is Harry Maguire. Also good with his feet. Also nice and big and strong, so he'll, I feel like he can hold his own weight. Yeah, exactly. And then 2 midfielders in Oriol Romeo and Gylfi Sigurdsson. I know Romeo's kind of a pick out of left field, but when he was at Chelsea, he's genuinely like the best pure tackler I've ever seen play. He has fallen off a bit since moving on to different clubs, but his ability to just like stop a ball dead without having to slide is just like his pure tackling was off the charts. And also his passing is really good. He's good with the ball over seat, Spanish guy. So Siggy, self-explanatory. He can score from anywhere. And another dribbler, another guy good with the ball at his feet, good moving it around. Up front, I got Wilfried Zaha, so we have that in common, Chuck.
I was going to say, it would be a bit weird if we actually had completely different teams on this.
Yeah. I mean, I couldn't resist. I did also was tempted to just go with 5 Palace guys because I just really like that Palace squad. But I figured that wouldn't be fun, so I tried to mix it up.
No, it fucking wouldn't.
No, too bad Ruben's not at Palace because he would have been straight in my team.
Oh, Ruben!
First name on the sheet. But...
Oh, rumors have resurfaced. He's not said that the door is completely closed on coming back to Palace.
Really?
Yep, in January. Right now, he said he's trying to learn to increase the tactical aspect of his game under Sarri. and that he expects he's going to start getting minutes as the Europa League gets underway, which it is starting really soon. Because he did make the Europa League squad, and Danny Drinkwater did not. So that is, like, at least a hope that he'll get some minutes there. But
It's not really saying much, though, to say that he's better than Danny Drinkwater.
well, yeah.
So, speaking of players who are good with the ball at their feet, how did the Danish futsal team get on against Wales? I didn't see it. Does anyone know?
Well, the Danish futsal team didn't actually play against Wales. The real players came back for that game,
Did
and
they?
Wales lost 2-0.
Was it all sorted, was it?
Yeah, after the Danish futsal team lost 3-0 to Slovakia in what was a very uninspiring performance, might I add. Yeah, they all came back, and then Christian Eriksen scored 2 against Wales, I believe, a penalty. One of them was a penalty. And yeah, I was so upset about that.
Never mind.
Yeah. I mean, the futsal guys, like, one of them was like a plumber, 2 of them just played 5-a-sides. Like, I'm not even kidding. It was like the most amateur hour thing.
It must have been amazing.
So the fact that they only lost 2-0 to Slovakia is like, or 3-0? 3-0 to Slovakia is embarrassing for Slovakia more than anything else.
Yeah. If the Denmark hadn't have fielded a team, they'd have just lost 3-0, wouldn't they?
Yeah, by default.
Yeah. Might needn't have bothered.
So, didn't really gain anything.
Yeah, okay.
You got to feel a bit shit if you are a futsal player, thinking like, right, finally my fucking chance. Here we go, put in a good solid defensive performance, only concede 3 goals.
There really aren't that many futsal guys who break through, though. Like,
Yeah.
other than Ronaldinho, like, all the Brazilian players played futsal, but he was, like, legitimately a futsal player before he became a football player.
Right, okay.
But besides him, I can't really think of anyone else who's, like, come out of that background.
Question-wise, we'll stick with a football theme for now. Johnny OG, I like this one, but I think we're going to have to take you guys one at a time because it's a few-part question. So we'll go with Oscar first. Were any of you, but were you good at football? Did you play soccer at school, Oscar?
I did, yeah. I played high school and a bit of college as well.
Yeah? Any good?
Although I didn't go to a good college for sports, so that's not impressive at all.
Oh, really?
We were Division 3 NCAA, which basically means so I went to an all engineering school for undergrad,
Right.
where everyone was like a super nerd. So of course I was like, oh, I'll walk on to the soccer team. And the teams that we played against were the University of the Virgin Islands, a culinary school from South Carolina, which is very far away.
And the Danish futsal team.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it was like one team of engineers, one team of chefs, one team of people from the Caribbean, and like, so it wasn't the most competitive league, let's say, but I was decent. I played right back / right wing back / right winger on occasion. Just bombing up and down the right side. I mean,
That's why you weren't doing so well.
Yeah,
if
I
you were
kept getting
playing right
confused.
back and bombing up the left side, mate.
Yes, exactly.
Oscar, get back in position.
That's why the coach kept shouting at you, Oscar. Your positional awareness was fucking dog shit.
No, the one thing I was good at was crossing. So, like, I took the corners, I took the set pieces, and I had a decent cross on me. And I could just run for forever. I like running. I still run a lot now, so, like, running is just what I was good at. But very English in that way. Just run and then put a cross in. Like,
Yeah. What about you, Chuck?
Same position, actually. I used to play right back.
Yeah?
Play right back now for my six-a-side team. I say team. We get pissed and then go play football. But I didn't really play at school because I went to like a rugby school. There was quite a few years where I didn't really play football at all. But when I was a kid, I used to play all the time. And I used to be quite fearless. So when you're a kid, you get like these summer camps come up that are sponsored by different clubs. Yeah. And you do like kind of a couple of weeks where you just go every day and you play different sports, and it's arranged into the age brackets. So when I was in, say, like the 7 to 10 age bracket, I still used to get picked by the teams really early because even though I was 7, I used to just tackle all the big kids and make them cry because I was a little shit.
In full.
That's the least surprising thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, colour me shocked.
Yes. But no, the same kind of with rugby, like I was quite physical for it, and I used to be pretty fast as well. So same as you, I was good like down the wing and the right hand side, so I could beat people. Never really been like super comfortable on the ball or super technical, but used to have a good shot on me. And they again, like same as you, really able to cross the ball in and just play down the right side, be quite defensive.
So did you play more rugby? Like, were there other sports that you guys played?
Well, for me, it was like rugby in the winter and cricket in the summer, and then athletics as well. It's kind of what I used to do. So rugby, I had like my growth spurt when I was about 14, so I was about 6 foot tall. And then I used to play like number 8 in rugby. Then played flanker as well as second row as well. Would have been good for like.
Oscar's shaking his head. Not a clue.
Not a clue. No.
You picked the two sports I know the least about. You're like, you could be making words up right now. I played
don't
cricket,
worry, cricket I never really played. That was just like fuck about in the summer and something to do.
Nice. What about you, Stimmers? Did you play sports back in... Did they have sports back when you were in school, or had they not been invented yet?
You motherfucker. Unbelievable.
Sorry.
What is funny is, like, I was thinking about this earlier, and like I played football up to about sort of under 13, under 14 before I gave it up. And I found an old team picture of me playing under 13s or whatever, and my hair was already receding then. And I was like fucking 12, and I've got a widow's peak hairline, and it was just, I was like, oh fuck, this has been for a while now. I mean, now it's obviously coming out of the back as well, and I've got no chance. I have to colour it in with a Sharpie, but yeah. So yeah, I played a bit of football, a little bit of rugby, not to any great standard or anything. We didn't really bother with cricket at school. Bit of athletics. There's a big athletics club near me, so we did do that a bit. We sort of. And I was just like the longest race possible because I couldn't really sprint. So it was just, I'll just try and outlast people. But yeah, that was about it, really. That was about it. Johnny also, position-wise, I was left back as well. So we were all fullbacks. Shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's not like the modern position now, just in case there are any like young guys listening, maybe in our like 12 listeners, where it's very much like bombing forward.
Yeah.
Right back and left back was just like, no, you were there and you touched the ball about 3 times every 90 minutes.
I had a manager for about 2 years who would fucking go mental if you went past the halfway line. And like, you're a defender, what are you doing? It's like, well, the ball's 6 feet from me and I could put a cross in. It's like, but he would go fucking mental.
That's interesting. That's really different from how it was here. Like, I mean, you know, that's why our fullbacks, the American fullbacks, are all like basically wingers, like DeAndre Yedlin.
Yeah.
Because they always just had us bombing all the way up. Like, I was more of a right winger slotted in at the right back position than anything else.
Yeah.
But soccer wasn't like my main sport. I did a lot of distance running. So like you, Stimmers, I would just keep running until everyone else was tired and then I'd just keep running. Yeah. And then, because I'm just a really stubborn asshole. Like, when I ran my first marathon, they say, like, your coaches are like, oh, you have to have a mantra. What's going to be your mantra? That's what'll get you past mile 20. And my mantra was, I'm strong, I'm stubborn, and I can do this. It's like, Jesus, so did you running around being like, I'm stubborn, just saying that over and over again?
I thought it was just going to be like, fuck you, get out of my way. Just everyone is running.
No, very slow. In my old age, my knees have gone, so I'm super slow. And basketball. Played a ton of basketball. Love basketball. Yeah.
Actually, I played a little bit of that when I was a kid, but I just feel like because it's not a sport we play, like there was no coaching or anything. We didn't know what we were doing. The school,
you don't get assigned like a position or anything.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just like basketball because it's indoor.
And we had a basketball court. Like, that was it. You know? So it was like, but I used to enjoy it. But yeah, I mean, there was no coaching or anything, so it was never really knew what we were doing at all.
That's crazy. Basketball's, I think, the sport I probably know the most about.
Yeah.
Certainly in terms of like playing, but maybe even in terms of tactics and stuff, even more than soccer.
My knowledge of basketball basically extends to the sort of mid-90s console game NBA Jam, was that?
NBA Jam is the toots!
And Tournament Edition, which was the one that had Turbo and Catching Fire.
Oh, yeah. I love that. Yeah, that was a great game.
He's heating up. He's on fire. Yeah.
I used to love that. It was brilliant.
Gotta love NBA Jam. There's a bar around here that has an NBA Jam arcade, and I try to go and play whenever I get a chance. It's fucking great. I think you can buy it on the Xbox, too, like the old editions.
There's one, there is one on like the PlayStation. There's like a modern version of the like arcade ones.
Yeah.
Can't remember what it's called exactly, but it wasn't released that long ago. It was like 2010, 2009.
Brilliant. Classic game. And so to finish up on that one, actually, Johnny OG says, which player, past or present, represents your style of play?
I don't think I played enough to have a style.
No? I mean, tackling-wise, I was Paul Scholes. Absolute dog shit. I just, used to go in, fucking have that, see you later, and just hope I didn't get a card.
I mean, I don't know. I guess this is not to do with playing ability at all. But just for position, I'd go Gary Neville, just for the simple fact of what Jamie Carragher said is no kid grows up wanting to be Gary Neville.
I enjoyed that so much.
No kid grew up wanting to be me playing football. What about you, Oscar?
Yeah, I don't know, man. Who's I'm trying to think back on like Chelsea's long list of mediocre right backs who at least had a decent cross, and really most of them didn't. Just like Jose Wizinga just crossing into Rose every time. But I imagine if I tried to play in the Premier League, I would be Jose Wizinga because I wouldn't have time to cross. Like, they would just be up me the whole time, so I would just be like, panic, and just cross it into the stands.
As Oscar goes, strong and stubborn.
Yeah, exactly. I'm strong, I'm stubborn, and they took the ball.
Anyone, Chuck? Lee Cattermole?
No, just Gary Neville. I
said
Gary
Neville.
Sorry. I was trying to dig you out.
And fuck off, Lee Cattermole. I'm shit at football, but I'm still a better footballer than Lee Cattermole.
Big statement.
It's so good that he just forgot that you answered.
I was thinking, I've got to think of a way to dig out Chuck, and then I've made myself look silly.
Oh, man, that's gotta stay.
Another opportunity will come around. Just wait.
Good, yeah. Exactly. Distance runner, just wait for my chance.
Exactly.
Speaking of which, we had a question from Gina. Is there an embarrassing memory you wish you could erase?
Yeah, about 4 years ago, I started listening to a podcast called The Gaffer Tapes, and then started a Twitter account, and then started talking to this guy called Ian Stimson.
Best day of your life, probably.
Which I never fucking bothered.
Jesus, you compare him to Lee Cattermole once? Yeah, I've never even seen you play.
Hey, at least you made the story. I'm not even in there. Fuck, we have a podcast, man.
Yeah,
whatever.
Emoji him, Oscar. Emoji him now.
Yeah, I'm on it.
I had just assumed he'd been doing it the whole time.
No, not one yet. It's been a clean shot.
Wait, no, I'll do a sad emoji for this one because he doesn't like me.
Teary face. You know the listeners can't see that, Oscar, yeah?
Yeah, well, that's why I said it. I narrated. I'll go for embarrassing story. This one time I was recording a podcast and I said pomegranate instead. No.
Can't remember what episode that was now.
Like 2 or 3. It's early on.
Yeah, it was early.
Right away. That's definitely like our longest running joke. No, real answer. So my parents are from Guatemala. I've only been twice ever to visit. One was a few weeks ago, and one was when I was like 14 or 15. We went, and we were at the beach, and there was this truck, and I was like, oh, it's like a food truck. And they were like, no. You're in a third world country. Don't do that. And I was like, no. It's like a food truck. I want some chicken. So I went, and I got a bunch of fried chicken for like everybody. I was like, we're going to have this bucket. We're going to share it. It's going to be great. Everyone else was like, no, I'm not eating that. And I was like, great. Fuckers, more for me. Fast forward to like 5 hours later, we're driving home from the beach, and we're crossing a river on a bridge. We're like on this narrow bridge, but there was nowhere to pull over. And I'm like, I'm going to throw up. I'm going to throw up right now. We need to pull over. And my dad, who was the one driving, was like, there's nowhere to pull over. You just got to throw up out the window. So I'm like, all right, I guess I'm doing this. So I roll down the window and I stick my head out of the side, and I'm just projectile vomiting off the side of this bridge. And as we finish crossing the bridge, I look back and I realize that under the bridge, because we're in a third world country, was a shanty town.
Oh, God.
Where, like, the poorest of poor people in an already poor country live in these, like, barely put together huts. And this asshole American just comes in and just rains
vomits chicken that he's paid for.
And like, I've never, like, to this day, that is, I think, the thing that I'm the most ashamed of, is that, like, I went to a third world country and I just vomited all over very, very poor people whose lives are already horrible. So that's definitely my shameful, horrible story that I wish I could erase.
I don't know whether that's a more scathing indictment of Americans actually going abroad, or just the food preparation practices of Guatemala.
Well, I can't resist some fried chicken. I think that was the dumb part on my part. Like, that's like, I should have known. I was old enough to know better, but I did it anyway. And they paid the price.
They paid
Truth.
the price.
Well, I have a similar story, but out the other end, as was required. God, this must be about 6 years ago now. And when I was living in North London, and it was in the middle of summer, and it was quite a nice day. And so I woke up early, and I thought, you know what I'm going to do today? I'm going to have a nice day. I'm going to go to the supermarket. I'm going to get like a few bits and pieces. I'm going to go to the park. I'm going to read my book and just enjoy it for a few hours before I have to go to work.
Lovely.
Quite nice. Yes, why not? Can't remember what the book was, so clearly it wasn't that good. So I go to the supermarket, get all my bits and pieces, and blah, 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 blah. Go to the park and start sitting there and just start reading my book, getting out pieces of bread and putting like these little like dairy lee slices and ham and just kind of making little sandwiches as I go. Num, 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 num.
High class picnic, carry on.
Yeah, but I'm in North London, mate. Fucking come on. So I'm sitting in the park, and so it gets to a couple of hours later, and I go, okay, well, time to go. So I pack up all my things and start walking around the corner to the bus stop and get on the bus, which is going to take me from the Seven Sisters area into central London. Now, I don't know if anybody else has this, but sometimes when you spend a day out in the sun, sometimes you feel like you might need a poo. I don't know if it's just me. Maybe it is just me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm on this bus and sitting on the top deck, and I just think, oh, actually, maybe I should have gone to the toilet. Oh, well, it's okay. It's only about a half an hour bus ride. I can hold that.
Of course.
2 minutes later, it feels like the gates of hell are going to open and spill forth from my trousers.
Oh, dear.
Now, I'm sitting on this bus, which is going over speed bumps, going around corners. It's a boiling hot day. Meanwhile, I'm sitting in the chair, and it's so hard to hold it in. I have my hands on both sides of the chair and have my hips thrust forward. So I'm no longer sitting in the chair, but just kind of straight across the top back of the chair, the edge of the seat down to the floor, just thinking, oh God, please don't shit yourself on a fucking bus in North London at 4:00 in the afternoon.
I mean, if you are going to shit yourself, a public bus is the way to go.
Yeah, and to be honest, it wouldn't have been the weirdest thing that happened in that area that day. So,
Still.
Meanwhile, as I know the bus route, I think to myself, fuck, where can I go? Going past all these little shops and kebab places where I'm like, right, they're not going to have a toilet. Then I think to myself, 2 bus stops time, there's a McDonald's. Great, I can go in there.
Result.
Bus stops at both of the other stops, and I'm still in this position just going, oh my God, and it's gurgling, it feels like it's going to spill forth. Eventually managed to get off the bus, doing the need to poo walk down the stairs, like sucking your ass in, like just kind of waddling, and I'm sure I made the noise, going down this high street, because it wasn't just get off the bus and go straight in McDonald's. It was get off the bus, walk for about 2-3 minutes along a busy main road to then get to this big drive-through McDonald's. Yes, it also had a drive-through.
Did you partake of the drive-through?
Funnily enough, no. Did a drive-by. I managed to make it running, what could pass for running, all the way to this McDonald's and get in. And as I'm just about to go into the men's toilet, this really old man goes in with his walking stick. And so I'm just kind of stuck behind him like, I can't get past, I can't do it. And he goes into the men's toilet and uses the one
only cubicle.
Oh
my God.
Locks the door, and I just think, fuck. I look around, see if there's another cubicle hidden somewhere. Maybe there's like a fake wall or something, but there's just 2 urinals. And I think the way this is going to go, it will go through that hole, but fuck me, it will hit everywhere else.
It's not the floor though, is it?
Nope. So came out of the men's toilet and saw there was a disabled toilet, but it's one of those ones that's permanently locked and you have to ask at the front desk if you can have the key.
Jesus Christ.
There was no time for this. We were full on danger close. I went straight for the women's toilet.
Yes.
Straight through the front door into the cubicle. No sooner had my trousers come off of my ass that it just thundered out of me. Audibly, hugely.
We call that battle shits over here.
Oh, dude, Jesus Christ. This was fucking Hiroshima shits. Like, it was that bad. And I hear like a few women talking like different cubicles. Luckily, there was no one like outside a cubicle at the time.
Yes.
And I'm trying as hard as possible not to make any discerningly manly noise.
Oh, excuse me.
Just like,
Oh my!
just passing out of me.
Heavens
And
to
it just
Betsy!
kept going. Oh, good gracious.
Sorry, I'm in full wheeze mode there. Sorry. Heavens
And
to
so-
Betsy.
So I'm sitting there, and thank God there was toilet paper in there, because fuck me, I've had the opposite happen far too many times.
Oh, yeah.
Always,
Oh,
always
Jesus.
check before you drop, guys. Always check. So after
life
this has
lessons.
gone on for about a good 5-10 minutes, it then gets to the point where there's now women outside, like just in the toilet in general, like washing their hands.
Bloody
and
women.
every time one leaves, a new one seems to come in, and I just think, well, I can't leave now. Like I can't. I've just done this
yes, you
horrendous shit where I've heard people talking. I can't do it. So I then sat there for about another 15 minutes, just kind of checking my watch, going like,
No. You just walk out. All right, girls. And just fuck off out there.
Yeah. It's definitely weirder that
Eventually-
you were just sitting in the women's toilet, like, listening to them. That's so much worse.
yeah.
Oh,
But-
Jesus.
Eventually, I realised that there was a break in the room, and just thought, fuck it, I need to go. So barreled straight out of the room, didn't wash my hands, went out, and because hygienic, went in the men's toilet to wash my hands, because he's a thinker. And then thought, well, as I left, I thought, well, don't want to be that guy that just goes into somewhere and shits everywhere. So went and bought myself a McFlurry so I wouldn't be too suspicious, and enjoyed a nice ice cream as I then
I
travelled to
think
work.
you'd just had a McFlurry. Fucking hell.
And that is one of the worst situations of my life, that if I could go back and change, I would not go to the dodgy little supermarket that I went to in North London.
Yeah. I'd
And-
be so stressed that would take years off my already short life. That sounds fucking horrendous.
Worst day of my life.
Well, the other story I chose not to tell is very much along the same lines, and just it ends with a tree stump. That's just I'll leave that mystery
Let's
there for
save
some
that
later
for another
date.
time.
Yeah,
Oh my
exactly.
God.
Stimmers, you have to tell a story about peeing yourself now, because we got vomit and we got poop. So
Yeah, no, I don't. Oh, okay, yeah. As a kid, this is very short, but as a how old would I have been? I would have been 6, and I was a bolshy little shit back then. And
Back then.
yeah, back then. And I probably would have been diagnosed with ADHD, but that wasn't a thing back then. I was just a little shit. So it was, the teacher wouldn't let me go to the toilet because it had just been break time. So I deliberately pissed myself because I was just like, I'm not having that. Even at 6, I mean, that's just a ridiculous thing to think. I'm not having that, so I'm going to sabotage myself for the rest of the day and piss myself. Is that some sort of revenge? I don't understand what. Another one was when I was about 4 or 5. We were having a picnic, and it was somewhere in the Pennines. Lovely. And my mum, I said I needed a toilet. My mum said, "Oh, just go in that bush over there." I went over, got my knob out, started to have a wee, and then somehow like tripped or something and fell into this like bush with my knob out, and it was stinging nettles. Like she hadn't seen what it was. I'll just go over there and have a wee. It's fine. No one's around. And I fell like fucking head and knob first into these stinging nettles, and was bawling my eyes out immediately. And then some fucking like park ranger or something I was coming round, and I'm
went
like,
and rubbed the dock leaf on your dick.
no, but said something about, oh well, if you take if it's in flour, you can take the flour out, and that's better than a dock leaf, and rub that around. And I'm like, even at like that age, I'm like, so I'll do it. Like, get the fuck away from me. And it's just, oh yeah, that was awful. As an adult, embarrassing stories.
As an adult, you let him rub the flour on your dick.
As an adult, I went back and said, all right, mate, where's these flowers? But as an adult, probably one of the worst ones was, so I used to work at Sky, and I would always stay over. So obviously I live in Peterborough, but I work in London, and I'd stay over on a Friday night all the time in a very low budget. It was a travel lodge, but Oscar won't know what a travel lodge is. But it's
We have travel lodge.
You have travel lodge. I didn't know
Yeah.
it was international. Jesus Christ, I'm sorry about that. But yeah, I'd stay in one of them every Friday night, and I'd always try and eat at work before I went there. So I grabbed a pizza from work, but the travel lodge was only like down the road, so I saved it, took it to the hotel room, and I got into my hotel room. I ate my pizza, and it's a big pizza. I immediately needed a shit, and so I went into the toilet, and even though I was in the hotel room on my own, I still sort of closed the door, and I don't know, did I lock it? I don't know, but I closed the door, and I go to look in the toilet, and it's fucking horrific. Like someone's it looks like someone's been sick on top of their shit. It's fucking not like it was just a fucking car crash, and I'm like, great, okay, this room's not been cleaned. So I go. Yeah, that's the
I'm
worst
going to
thing.
write a strongly worded letter to the concierge.
If I can find the fucker. So I go to get out of the bathroom. I touch the sort of handle, and it comes off in my hand, and like I cannot get out of the room because I've got the handle just come off in my hand. So I'm left with someone else's shit, sick, whatever, in this tiny little bath, and I can't. So it takes me about 2 minutes to sort of jimmy the handle back in so as I can get out of the room. So I get out of the room, and I sort of grab my bag, and I go down to reception, and I say, look, my room's obviously not been cleaned. There's something really dodgy in the toilet, and by the way, the handle of your toilet came off in my hand while I was there, and I sort of put the handle on the desk. They seemed to find it quite amusing. I brought the handle down with me, but it was still in my hand, so I just sort of like put it down on the desk. There's the handle. So, oh, I'm really sorry, some of the rooms are being renovated, we weren't sure which ones had been cleaned, sorry, really sorry, blah blah blah. I'm like, okay, like I'm trying to sort of, trying to be authoritative and sort of say, oh, I need a new room. Right, okay, fine, whatever, blah, blah, blah. We'll get you a new room. Okay, fine. Get a new room. Go into the bathroom, sort of like, look in the mirror. I've got a massive bit of chicken still on my face from the pizza that I'd eaten. And, like, I've gone down to reception and tried to, like, really be, this is not acceptable, blah, blah. And I've got a fucking whole chicken, basically, on the side of my face. And they didn't mention it once or whatever, and I'm like putting the fucking handle down, going, this is not acceptable. But it was, I felt like a right twat after that, because I was just chicken and pizza sauce smeared over my face.
That's awesome. I was fully expecting the ending of that story to be that you heard giggling from in the shower and someone goes, heavens to Betsy. And then Chuck pops out and is like, surprise, bitch! I shit in your room.
I'm just like, Oscar, why are you pretending to be a lady in my shower? Heavens to Betsy. That's the episode title anyway.
Yeah, heavens to Betsy for sure.
Okay, so we've got one more question as well. Mike McGibney asks, and I know the answer with Oscar, but have you got any tattoos and why? Now, I haven't got any tattoos because, you don't graffiti the Mona Lisa. But I know you have, Oscar. I know you're heavily tatted up. But Chuck, have you got anything?
I've got one shit tattoo on my shoulder that I got when I was 16.
Have you?
Woo,
What have you got?
I want to hear about that.
Yeah.
It's effectively a glorified triangle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why a triangle, and what do you mean glorified?
Glorified, yeah.
Because it's like a tribal spiky thing that is shaped like a triangle, and I was 16 and my mum was
Really?
paying for it.
Your mum paid for it?
Yeah, I don't know. Like,
Amazing.
common as muck, me, you know. So
When I was 17, I nearly got one of those, like, tribal band things round, your bicep or whatever.
yeah.
And, like,
I tell you what, this very much plays into the anything you could change question. 'Cause fuck that
Really?
tattoo. Oh yeah, fuck
That's
that.
fine.
Like I hate it so much.
Right, so this is the Oscar half hour, so go on, Oscar.
Yeah, I won't go too long. Although, for anyone out there who's young and hasn't decided whether or not to get a tattoo, I would just say that my rule is always to meet with an artist, come up with a final design, be like, wow, I really love this design, I'm excited about it. Stick it on a shelf for 2 years. If you still want it 2 years later, you're probably not going to regret it.
And I would say hit 16, convince your mum, go down to a tattoo place, literally just pick anything out of the fucking book because you want a tattoo that day, and the one you actually want is too expensive for her, and get that one.
Yeah, do that.
That's
Hey.
awesome.
Then
on,
live
kids.
with regret, because that will teach
Life
you
lesson.
more about life than any fucking responsibility ever will. Don't listen to Oscar. He's a fucking stats nerd.
Facts. Big facts.
So,
Um,
go on, Oscar. What
No,
have
I
you
mean,
got?
obviously, I won't go through all of them because I have a lot, but I'll just talk about a couple of my favorite ones. The first one I ever got was the Chelsea Lion. So the lion right from the middle of the badge on my right shoulder. You guys, obviously, listeners can't see that, but I'm showing Chuck and Ian.
How old were you?
That was 2010, so I would have been 22. So I decided I wanted the lion probably in like 2008 or 7. I sat on the design for 2 years, and then I liked it, so I got it. Went back and added a star when we won the Champions League, so that was cool. What else? Right after I got married, I got a Star Wars tattoo. It's the Rebel Alliance symbol, but then inside of it, really like stylized. The artist was fucking brilliant. Is R2-D2 and C-3PO outside of like the Tatooine hut where they first met Luke. And the reason for that being that the wife and I kind of think of ourselves as R2-D2 and C-3PO. So they were our cake toppers at our wedding. We're super fucking nerdy, as you guys can imagine.
Oh,
So I got that one kind of like, they're like home. So it's like a home. They're making a home together. I don't know. So I got that one. And right now I'm in the middle of a sleeve, which you guys have seen.
Yeah.
And my last session is actually on Saturday, so 2 days from today. I'm going to sit down for 8 more hours, and hopefully the sleeve will be completed on then. Because I'm like, I want to say like 16 hours in, 20 hours into this sleeve.
Yeah, it's been a few times.
Yeah. It's been going since October. I'll just go in for a session every once in a while. I love how it's coming out. Amazing so far, but I kind of want to be done with it too.
Yeah.
Just because it's like super expensive and it's just been a long time going. But yeah, those are my probably 2 or 3 favorite tattoos.
Good stuff. Well, that's it for questions. But I mean, I think we've gone nicely miles offside there. I enjoyed that. If you've got any more questions, you can get us on Twitter at Miles Offside Pod and Facebook as Miles Offside as well. And we'd love to hear from you. And also, if you could review us wherever you get your pods, give us a 5-star review. That would really help other people find us. Subscribe and all that good stuff. That'd be great.
All that delicious podcast goodness, please.
Creamy podcast.
Yeah, it
goodness.
goes creamy podcast. This is as close as you can get to a podcast without getting your eyes wet.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. Oscar, no fucking idea what
No
we
idea.
just did.
No idea.
0. Nope.
0.
So, Mighty Boosh, Alan Partridge, The Office, all things we've got to get Oscar to watch.
Yes. Yeah, so you can get onto us for questions. Also, this is your last call. Probably by the time you hear this, you will just have this evening or the next few hours to enter the Miles Offside Predictor League. All you have to do is send us your predictions of where all 20 teams will place in the league for this year. It's completely free to enter. You can do this on Twitter, Facebook, by email to milesoffsidepod@gmail.com.
Carry a pigeon to Peterborough. I'll find it.
Yeah.
I'll find it.
Yeah, why not? Send him a raven.
Nice.
To the north of the wall. I don't know. I haven't watched Game of Thrones for a long time. I literally can't remember any of the references.
There you go. A Londoner thinking that Peterborough's the north. Carry on.
Oh, it's up there. Fuck off. You're all north.
We have the same thing in New York State over here where it's like if you're above Westchester County, you're upstate. But everyone upstate is like, fuck off. There's like so much land up here.
Exactly. We didn't want it, so you can just fuck off and have that.
Yeah.
So send that in to us, and the winner will get a £51 gift card to the Premier League team of their choice, or if it's not Premier League team, Championship team. I suppose the lower down the leagues you support, the further the money you'll go.
The more you'll get, yeah.
So,
And if your club doesn't have a team store because you support so far down the table, we'll pay for a one-night stay at the Travelodge that Ian had an emergency situation.
Yeah, I believe they have preserved that room as was. It is so legendary.
Yeah.
So entries, the last entry will be accepted at 11:30 a.m. British summertime on Saturday, or like
6:30.
6:30 a.m. Eastern in America, or like 3:30 Pacific.
I like that. Someone comes in at 11:31. Chuck's like, no. I
fucking will be as well.
And what time is that in India for our Indian listeners?
# big in India.
We do have a few.
Yeah. We've had a couple of downloads from Barbados. Isle of Man. Don't think they're in a different time zone.
They're in a different era, I can tell you that much.
Yeah. Spain. Don't slag off the listeners, Chuck.
Yeah, come on. We actually have one there. Make fun of places that we don't have listeners.
It's the Isle of Man. It's all right. It's not a country. It's England. It's fine. I've just slagged off the whole north, and I've just slagged off the Isle of Man. I did Milton Keynes last week.
Yeah, Milton Keynes got it last week. You are an equal opportunities
I hate everyone.
xenophobe. Can't remember where else we got downloads from.
Many exotic places.
And the Isle of Man.
And the man.
So as we said right at the start of the episode, domestic football will be back this weekend.
Thank God for that.
Yes. Thank God. It feels like it's been gone for ages and it's been only 4 games played.
Yeah.
Oh, we need more.
Speaking of which, I got my tickets for the top of the table clash Peterborough-Portsmouth on Saturday. Oh my God, I'm so excited for that.
Yes.
First versus second, here we go.
First versus second, both teams unbeaten.
Yep.
Oh.
Super
delicious.
All tickets, going to be a sellout at London Road. Beautiful.
Excellent stuff.
Which never happens. Like we get about 5,000 people in a 15,000 seater stadium usually.
Oh, I thought that was it. I thought you were going to say about 5.
Yeah.
And some guy's dog.
Yeah. Well, if you're not wanting to see something that's as, high profile as Peterborough versus Portsmouth, then get a load of these fixtures for the Premier League this weekend. We've got Spurs at home to Liverpool.
Fine, we'll do the Premier League. Carry on. Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, fine. Sorry, are we not doing League One?
League One, yeah. Who are Oxford playing? No, sorry. Yeah, do the Premier League.
Barnsley? I don't know. I know they're in League One.
Wycombe Wanderers? Is that a team?
Who did you say?
What? Wycombe Wanderers?
He nearly said Wycombe, didn't he?
Did you just say Wycombe?
I said it the first time I did. Yeah, I didn't know. And then you both looked at me. I was like, shit, it's definitely Wycombe. All right.
100% Wycombe. So Spurs Liverpool as the 12:30 game. Bournemouth Leicester, Chelsea Cardiff, Huddersfield Palace, Man City Fulham, Newcastle Arsenal as the 3 o'clock games on Saturday. Then Watford Man United at 5:30. Sunday you've got Wolves against Burnley, Everton West Ham, and then on Monday night football. God, it's fucking shit. You have got the epic South Coast clash of Southampton against Brighton.
Yeah, that's the one they all want.
Yeah.
No one's paying for
that.
Give that one a miss.
Yeah, people have genuinely paid to watch that game. Well done, Sky. He's fine. You don't work for him anymore. I can say.
No, slag him off. Go for it.
Any of those games stick out to you, gentlemen, that you're really looking forward to, apart from seeing your own teams? Or
I mean, obviously Spurs Liverpool is going to be good, so we can just ignore that. But that's a good way to start the weekend. Not interesting to say that it's going to be good, but it's going to be good. I'm very excited to watch that. Yep. Chelsea, I know it's my own team, but I want to see if they can keep doing it and stay even with Liverpool and keep winning.
Did you see Neil Warnock's comments about how he's
I didn't.
No? What did he say? And can you say it in his voice?
No, I can't. I mean, I could, because that would be really ripping off the Football Ramble, because Marcus Speller does such a good Neil Warnock that I'm not going to go near it. But, he said, we're not going to, Cardiff aren't going to survive, like, just sitting back for the 90 minutes. Like, they're not going to be able to keep Chelsea out for 90 minutes, so they might as well play them. So, congratulations on your 7-0 win, Oscar.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It made me so happy when he said that after the Arsenal game. He was like, "Well, we can't defend against them, so we may as well attack." I'll steal it. I'll fucking hijack. I just love him. I think Neil Warnock's great. I always have. From all of his spells at Palace and everything, he's amazing.
Good value.
He just wants to attack teams. So brilliant.
Yeah, that could be crazy.
I got fully erect. So excited when you said that.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else, Chuck? What are you into this weekend?
Palace Huddersfield, of course.
Sure.
I don't know, we're probably going to lose. It doesn't matter. There we go, guys. Game week 5, and I've doubted everything already. There we go. Newcastle Arsenal. That sticks out to me. Featuring Arsenal again as kind of my pick. After the last one against Cardiff, I thought Cardiff could do something against them, which they did, obviously. Scoring 2 goals against Arsenal was pretty embarrassing. I think Newcastle... Rafa Benitez does set up well for big teams and big challenges, and it's not easy for any team to go to St James's Park, however much in disarray they may be at the minute. So I think he'll have really targeted that game, and he can be solid at the back and maybe nick something against them. So I think either way it could be quite an interesting game, that one.
Nice. Stimmers, you got an eye on anything?
Well, we just because we mentioned how much Burnley have got to pull out of their slump. I think we said last week about how they've got to do something in the next 4 games. So if they can't do something against Wolves on Sunday, the pressure's really on. So that could be a good game, because I mean Wolves have been decent. So yeah, that I mean it's a bit boring, mid-table, bottom of the table, whatever, but it could be a good game.
Yeah, similarly the other Sunday game, West Ham playing, and we talked last week about how West Ham need to turn it around. I feel like Everton isn't the hardest place to go. Lately, so they're going to need a result.
West Ham Everton is always a good fixture. I've got 2 friends of mine who got married last year, and he's a West Ham fan and she's an Everton fan, so it always piques my interest, that one. And he has had to get many. Speaking of tattoos earlier, in a bit of a callback, he's had to get many tattoos as punishments for making stupid bets with friends.
I thought you were going to say with his missus.
Last year was with his missus. The loser, whoever's team finished below the other one, had to get a tattoo of Daffy Duck in the opposite team's kit.
Fucking hell.
So he has a tattoo of Daffy Duck in an Everton kit.
That's the most fucking hipster story I've ever heard. I'm like angry right now at how hipster that is.
I love them both, but they are quite hipster. She works at a zoo. She used to work for Bill Bailey, looking after his animal collection in his house for a little while.
That's
quite
crazy.
A cool job.
Yeah.
Bizarre.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of horrible tattoos, though, just completely taking the Miles Offside like we do. Did you guys see the news story about what Domino's Pizza did to people in the U.S.?
Yep.
No.
You did? Yeah. Okay, Chuck, I'll tell you. They had a promotion going where if you got a tattoo of the Domino's Pizza logo and you like showed it to them on social media, or you went to I don't know exactly how you showed it to them, you got a year of free pizza.
Is that all?
Yeah,
is that all
a
you have
year.
to do?
Not even a lifetime.
No. I don't mean is that all you get. I mean, is that all you have to do to get a year's worth of pizza? Because I'll get fucking Domino's tattooed all over this motherfucker.
Chuck's doing it now.
Wait, so
just scratching it in with a biro.
Oh my god. Well, here's the plot twist, is they didn't anticipate that there were so many Chucks out there. Because everyone went out and did it. And they were like, just kidding, guys. too many of you did this, so we're not actually going to give you free pizza.
Reneged on
So now there's a bunch of fucking people walking around with Domino's tattoos.
Fuck Domino's.
For no fucking
Boycott
reason.
Domino's.
But if you're like the, because they're just franchises, aren't they? If you're like the local manager and someone comes in and shows you a tattoo, you just give them a free pizza, don't you? For the fuck it, because I mean that's so.
It's not
bad.
how small business works, Ian. You can't just keep giving away stock like that.
No, okay. I've never worked for any tiny company. I've only ever worked for Rupert Murdoch.
Similarly, though, like something caught my eye with KFC that they were paying $10,000 to anyone who named their child after Colonel Sanders, which is like Harland James or something, I want to say.
So how many million people did it? Jesus
I am
Christ,
very much considering it for my child.
Yeah, that's enough to make me want to maybe have a child. Except no, not at all. But if it was free KFC, I'd be like, oh, I'll procreate for some free KFC.
And then vomit over some Guatemalans.
Exactly.
Well, then on that amazing callback to throwing up on the needy, I think that's venturing not so much miles offside, but maybe sort of light years offside for this week. So, thank you very much. Welcome back to the Premier League. So long international break. Yeah, that's right. Full turncoat, sick of it. Say goodbye, Oscar.
Goodbye, Oscar.
Ian, say goodbye.
Heavens to Betsy.
Thank you very much, guys. Take care.